All right, what's up, everyone? Happy Monday. Welcome back. Hello Hair Pro podcast, built by Todd Ford, not Jen. How's it going?
Great. How are you?
Amazing. Although I got cold.
Well, it's winter.
It is winter, and that's exactly what I would say to somebody that said that to me. All right, today we're talking about, I guess, a bunch of different stuff. We'll do a little update on where we're at with our space. We can talk about another buzzword that I keep seeing in the industry, and I think that people could really take advantage of it and leverage it with their business. So I had some random thoughts the other day, and I wrote them down, and then I think that'll help people, and then we'll do our opening takes, and I don't know, see what happens, right? Kind of fun.
Sounds good to me.
Just kind of chat. Yeah. All right. As always, we're always going to start with our opening takes. Opening takes. I feel like I have 50. I feel like, so the reason why I was like, we don't really need a specific topic today is because of 50 opening takes.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, we can just talk and run through stuff, but you can start.
All right, I'll start. For all those listeners out there that are control freaks like myself, over the last couple weeks, I've learned a few things. So when the salon first flooded and Todd called me the next morning with the contractor, and when I heard the word weeks, I went into total panic and meltdown. Weeks is a long time. I, in my head, just thought, a couple days, here we are. Servpro will take care of us and be back. I obviously did not realize the extent. I knew it was bad. I just didn't maybe even want to really accept it. I guess that's it. And then the word weeks, I definitely didn't want to accept that. And I pretty much didn't want to accept much in the first week. I was probably like a child having a temper tantrum almost every day in different ways. But as we do have to adult, I learned, since there are things I can't control, focus on what I could. And that was definitely not a timeline. That was definitely not anything moving fast. Definitely nothing was going to go the way that I hoped it to be. And that was really hard. So I focused on daily things that we could do. I focused on taking care of the staff in the space we were in and keeping them healthy mentally and physically, reminding them to bring water and lunch and whatever, grab snacks if we needed it. But it was not easy. And I guess my controlling self learned how to live in a world that I had no control over. And by last week, I definitely was finally at peace with it, to the point where one of my staff was like, why do you seem so calm today? And I guess it just was, what else am I going to do? Show up, do the work, be grateful that we had a place to work, be happy for the things that we do have, and that the salon is going to be great when it's open, and try to enjoy the process. That's always difficult for me. But yeah, just want to share that.
That's an important lesson. I read something by someone this morning that was talking about their business, Jen. And so they opened this business back in the day it was in the gym industry, fitness industry. And what it was a way for people to avoid like huge shipping on some of the equipment that they used. And what they did was they made these like bags, and then inside them were these sort of inner tubes that you could fill with sand to avoid the weight of the product for the shipping. It's a great idea, except what they failed to realize is the manufacturer of the tubes that they used for inside their bags stopped making those bags. So their whole business crumbled because they built it around something that they had no control over. So I think focusing on what you can control is a massive lesson for everybody. Look at how many people in this industry are ruled by retail. We're not a retail industry.
Right.
Unless you manufacture products, you use products that the brands make to provide services. Yeah, I get that. But it's like saying a mechanic is in the tool industry. No, they're not. They fix cars. They need tools to fix cars, but they don't make the tools. So you're not really in that industry. And I think people get confused about that. And then people will blame stuff for, Amazon sells this, so my clients get it there. And you can't control that. So you should really focus on something else.
Right.
Instead of fighting these things that you're never going to win.
It's a waste of your energy and time.
It really is. So, have you heard about the bean soup lesson?
I have not. I'm sure you're not
So,
surprised by that, though.
I think we might have talked about it before, but I don't remember. And I think it's just something that's interesting because you see people online insert themselves into these conversations or into these things that they really don't belong in. But because everyone shares everything constantly, you feel like your say is somehow valid when it might not be. So what happened is, and I've seen this presented a couple different ways, and I've always thought it was fascinating. So I'll just tell the story. Someone posted a simple recipe for a bean soup on wherever. I forget where. Let's just assume it was Instagram. And almost immediately the comments started coming in. Can I substitute lentils? Can I use chicken instead of the ham? What if I'm vegan? What do I do then? Someone was like, what if I don't have that same stove? Someone was like, I don't like beans. What could I use in the place? Look, people, it's a recipe for bean soup. Someone eventually wrote, then don't make the bean soup. And that's the important part because people want to take something that is not for them. Like if you don't like beans, a person posting a recipe for bean soup, you're not their target audience. It's okay to not be involved. It's okay to move on with your life and just be happy. It's okay to make a different freaking soup.
Mm-hmm.
Just because somebody posted a recipe doesn't mean they owe you anything else. They don't owe you all the explanations of, oh, I'm vegan, or, oh, I don't like ham, or whatever. Then don't make the damn soup. Not every business is supposed to serve everybody. Not every standard is supposed to be accepted across all boards. Not every opinion requires like your response or the need to adjust it or disagree with it because it's not for you. And vice versa. You don't have to include everyone. Look, you had issues with your last salon because you went through a period where you were trying to market your salon to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when you do that? It becomes confusing. Who goes here? Who is this business built for? No one knows because you're trying to be too many things for too many people. And again, there's great stuff with social media. Like it's phenomenal for sharing information, but you have to curate where you spend your time. You have to focus on finding the bean soup recipes that you want to make, not just finding something and trying to make it into what you think it should be. So that's the bean soup lesson.
I like it. I like bean soup, so I would be fine having it.
Yeah, we should make it. It's delicious. But if you didn't like it, you could just make chicken noodle soup or like chili or something else. Yeah, you don't have to get mad at the author. It's crazy too, because I still see so many things, examples of that, where somebody will make something and they'll say, what about for us gluten-free people? Well, go follow a gluten-free page. They exist.
Right.
Why would I change my pizza recipe to fit your lifestyle? Or why would I make a different bread to fit your lifestyle? I don't care about your lifestyle. Not to be rude, but if I worry about everybody, say I'm a baker and I worry about everybody, that's going to water me down so much that I'm not going to resonate with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. Definitely don't do that with your business. That's crazy. Let's talk a little bit about where the business is, where Hello is.
Still not at hello, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, everything, I don't know where we left off last week. Do you? I think we were.
We definitely were, because nothing was confirmed we were waiting on insurance for sure to.
Oh, we were still.
Yeah, because we didn't get that until Thursday. We were waiting on insurance to basically write off or give us the signature that everything was a go with the contractor. I think that's where we were.
All right. So since then, everything's been approved by insurance. Everything that's lost will be covered. Our contractor got the go-ahead, which we already were going ahead because we didn't have a choice. Our flooring was ordered. It's going to be in this week and installed this week. Again, I haven't checked the weather, but that's barring like any snowstorms, any delays, any whatevers. So we don't have a hard date, but I can say, do you want me to just say?
Sure.
because our staff listens to this.
Ooh,
Breaking news. We need a breaking news alert.
we do.
That's how it used to be, right? Something like that.
Yeah, maybe. Now it's like breaking news. I feel like that's how it goes. Anyway.
Yeah, definitely. They have one on the sports radio show I listen to too sometimes. That's like breaking news, and there's like a whoosh like that. All right. Anyway, we're looking at the potential of Monday. So next Monday, about a week from now, or a week from now, being able to move back in. From there, things will be a little tricky because we'll be operational, but I'm not sure what a lot of stuff looks like. So
we'll be bare bones, but
yeah, like the salon will be open and ready and we have chairs, but I'm not exactly sure as far as furniture what was damaged or ruined because the cleanup teams immediately took that out. They put it in pods and they locked it, obviously for safety. So I haven't been able to inspect anything because I'm not going to pull stuff out into snowbanks. It's been snowing a ton here in the Northeast. So that's where we're at. Our stations are good to go. So we'll be operational there.
I don't know about the barber stations, but the salon station, the main station.
The barber stations are still on the wall. The shelving, the top part.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
We can use them. The part that was submerged was removed.
That's right.
Because they were on the floor and we had to remove the floors. So, yeah, we'll have all of our stations. I'm not sure if anything rusted. You know what I mean? Because stuff got wet. Hopefully not, but we'll have to play that by ear.
Yes.
I'm not sure. So that's our update. Hopefully Monday, we will not be open. We will be moving in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure some of our staff will come when we're ready to help us.
They'll just sleep over that night, just waiting for us to arrive.
Unbox. No, I was thinking helping us put products back up. And
I was thinking Sunday night they're sleeping there. So whenever we show up Monday, they're like ready to go. Funny.
I guess.
Smoke.
I didn't get it at first. I get it now.
They'll be laughing.
It's not funny though. All right, so let's talk briefly about we can keep this a short one. Let's talk. Every time I say that, it's 45 minutes later. I keep seeing all the buzzwords out there, like luxury. I pick on because I'm like, you say you're luxury, but what is your business doing? That's luxury. What services are you providing? That's truly luxury. You provide the same services that every other salon provides. So you're not really luxury. I noticed another word recently, or it clicked that I've been seeing it over and over and over, which is boutique. Oh. So I keep seeing these boutique salons, and I guess it's something that's, I think people could leverage better if they ran their business by the definition of boutique instead of the look of boutique. Because, and I want to be clear too, I'm not knocking anybody. This isn't a criticism. I think you should leverage this. I think that you could make a ton of money and have a super successful business that's run in a boutique manner by the definition of the word. So when most people say boutique, though, what they mean is small, nicely decorated, some sort of curated aesthetic, their individual vibe. I'm almost guaranteed to see plants, candles, probably some crystals, tchotchkes, you know what I mean? And it's put together in a way that the owner or whoever built it thinks is cool.
I would shop at a boutique.
Yeah. And they make it visually different, but it's not structurally different. And I think boutique is not necessarily about how your salon looks. It should be about how your salon operates. Mm-hmm. And I think the word comes from a good place too. I think that people want more like intentional environments. They don't want like a sterile looking salon that's just blah to them. And I get that. That's cool. They want probably, I'm just guessing, but they probably want to work with a smaller team. They probably want to have more control over the day-to-day stuff. They probably want some sort of an elevated client experience and more, I guess, something intentional. And I think that's all good stuff. But here's where I think things kind of drift apart. Is that most salons will change. Say you're like, I want to open a boutique salon, or I want to turn Hello into a boutique salon. So you're going to change the aesthetic, but it's the same operation. So you have the same booking, the same compensation, the same leadership, the same lack of systems, probably the same reactive decision making. Like, for example, I don't think a boutique salon in my head would offer discounts to get clients in the door.
Right.
That's a reactive decision making process that people in the salon industry rely on. Again, I'm not knocking you. I just think that there's more intentful way, or a more intentful way for you to operate. So what are some things that you could do? Let's talk about client experience. So you could have something that's more intentional when it comes to client matching. You probably don't say no to services. When people come through your door, especially all the boutiques that offer discounts out there, when people come through your door, you service them, regardless if you want to do it or not. But that's not what boutique means. Boutique means small and curated. Again, you're trying to be for everybody, but you're saying you're a boutique. And so there's a mismatch there that doesn't make sense to me. You could spend time on having deeper, more meaningful consultations. That could be scheduled in. Now, I'm not saying to charge for consultations or to not charge for consultations, but if your consultations truly kick ass and are part of the experience, don't you think people would pay more for the haircut?
I would imagine.
Yeah. You could have more personal services, like personalized services. I'm not sure. Maybe you're curating, since that's the definition of boutique, products. Maybe you don't carry one product line, but instead you curate the products that you need to truly serve that individual client. Is that a pain in the ass? Probably. But you could do it and you could charge for that. You know what I want for you today, Alice? I wanted you to have this specific shampoo from this brand because I think it's going to be perfect for you. And I wanted to use this styling product from this other brand because I think it's really going to work well with your hair. But we're too afraid to do that, or a lot of people are too afraid to do that because they're stuck with the one line. You're not really curating a personal experience for people. You're just curating it for yourself. So I think if you flip that, and then with that comes, you could work on fewer clients and provide a much better experience. And if you went out of your way to find those boutique, like I'm telling you right now, if you're a boutique salon and you think you've got this nailed, contact Jen. She will be your client. She does not have a tough time paying good money or paying a higher price when the service is there.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And unfortunately, those two never seem to really go together, I feel. I think too, and you have certain...
Because I just cut you off, but people just use the word as a buzzword. But I think you could really do something special with it.
I would agree. I think that's where people get nervous about price increases or prices going to a certain price point, is because the experience or the service they're delivering doesn't match that price. So they understand if they go and raise their prices, they should be offering a really better experience that goes behind that. And most people are just too lazy to do that.
Or they don't know how. I don't even know if it's lazy.
True.
They might just be following like, oh, I've always wanted a boutique salon. I see that too. Hey, my plan is to open a high-end boutique salon. And then they charge $20 for haircuts and they do 20% discounts to get people through the door. What is high-end about that? What is boutique about that? You're trying to get anybody in the door. If you flip it and you're intentional and you build it to solve specific problems for a specific demographic, you'll build.
Attract.
It will take time, but everything takes time.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about a team. You could have a much smaller team with a boutique sort of setup.
Mm-hmm.
You could hire a actual specialist, not just somebody that says that they're a specialist and uses it again as a buzzword. But you could hire somebody and say, this person fits what we're truly trying to do here. But again, if you go look around, most boutique salons are hiring anybody.
Right.
Doesn't matter. That is not the definition of boutique. So it gets like a little bit watered down. You could definitely have clearer standards because say there's 3 or 4 people working and not 30 to 60. I see some of these massive salons that they own 3 or 4 locations across like a big city and they have 120 staff. It's insane. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. That's cool. That's a business that somebody wants to build. Super cool. Not knocking it. You could have, with a boutique, smaller team, you could have much deeper training. You would probably have, if you don't have to send 200 people to something,
Right.
you can spend more money on better training.
Mm-hmm.
You could do things that we do, fly somebody in once a year that specializes in what we want our team to learn for that session, for that year, for whatever. And then you could have more alignment too with your team because it's so much easier to manage 3 other people than 100. At that point, you need a management layer that you have to manage, and you have to make sure they're managing the people under them. And then there might be someone that is your now, say you have 3 locations. There's got to be somebody that is touching base with all of those. So now you need like a regional sort of level of leadership. That's the opposite direction. And it's hard to get stuff done with that if you have great systems in place, but you've got to be a real systems builder for that type of operation. But anyways, we're talking about boutique. So I think you could curate your team, a small team that like truly aligns. And if they don't align, they don't work there. It's just that simple.
And it would be obvious because it's that small.
Yeah. A lot of this is funny because I wouldn't consider Hello boutique, but a lot of the way we operate really is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. On a bigger scale. But for sure, we've curated all of these things so that experience for the client becomes first, taking care of our staff so they can take care of the client. Those are equally as important. And we have, and it's taken a while, but curated the staff that we want to work with and that believe in what we're doing in Hello, and they're part of that buy-in, right? Our team is bigger, but it wasn't the team we started with, and we've grown into this, and those that didn't fit aren't on the team. And it does help with the culture, and you can do it with a bigger team. Like ours isn't huge, like multiple locations, but I guess we've kind of, without even laying that out, like maybe part of our mission was sort of to curate it this way so that we did have a boutique feel even in a bigger space, right?
Yeah, I agree. We have used that word before. Like we've curated our staff. We don't just hire anybody. If there's not a vibe there, it's not a hire.
Right.
Regardless if we want to fill a seat or not, because we really truly protect the culture. So and we stand by that, and we have our cultures like it's something that is defined. It's something that the clients will tell you about. It comes top down for sure. So again, getting back to boutique, leadership is another thing that you could focus on. It's really difficult to communicate effectively with 100 staff. With a small staff, there's a super clear direction. You can contact people personally every day.
Right.
I'm not saying do that right now because we're dishomed. I don't have a fun word right now since we are cutting hair under the bridge on the streets. I touch base with our staff every single day.
Yeah.
I post something to them every single day. And that's a lot easier to do with the smaller team. I do it through our communication software, but you could be, if you say, for example, you text people and everyone's cool with that, you could be texting your team every single day individually, not as a group. Hey, what do you need? Hey, how can I help you? You have more opportunity to have an intentional culture rather than just saying slogans like, oh, we're family here. Like that doesn't really resonate with people. You have the opportunity when you're smaller too to be less reactive, I would say, because your fires are likely to be smaller. I'm not saying catastrophic. Look, you could have a pipe burst. There's nothing you can do. That sucks. But you can be calm about it because you have to find 3 people a place to work rather than 16. Or rather than shut a location down. What?
You just froze on my side, just so you know.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Just in case, what was I saying? I
You could have a
froze.
pipe burst, and it was about putting out fires. But
I was just gonna say, like, it rather than shutting a location down. Say you're one of those big salons that has 40 staff. What are you gonna do? Are you
yeah,
gonna? What
that
if
would be
the?
tricky.
What if there's no cash flow? What if you're that week to week or month to month when it's and there's so much uncertainty and you have to close a location down for a month or two to rebuild it? The smaller your team is, the more mobile, the more opportunity you have to just do what we did and flip them into somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not necessarily reactive. We were able to act in that way because there's two of us. So we were like, okay, chill out. And then you were like, all right, you chill out. And then, right, we can move through. But it ended up being a more calm decision-making process because when we came together, I think you told this story last week maybe, but when we came together, it was, hey, I have this idea. And I was like, let me guess, it's this idea. Because we had taken time to think about what we needed to do.
Right.
Your systems too, I think with a boutique salon, like if you were really running it in a boutique sort of way, you would have systems that, one, aren't copied from bigger salons, that create some sort of intentional operational flow. Like, so your space works for you because you've designed it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Not just throw a bunch of chairs in a big open area and then fill them with anybody and everybody that will come in. And then you can have systems that are designed specifically for that environment. Maybe we are boutique.
Sounds just like us.
Now that I think of it. I think that, yeah, I think people just see the aesthetic and they're like, oh, there's a bunch of tchotchkes and this person's into crystals. This is a boutique salon. But it's not run any different than any other salon. So like the aesthetic is what people will see, but the structure is what people are going to feel.
Yeah, and the feel is what really defines it. Because it's just like anything. Like, you can tell people what to do, but you have to lead them by your actions, right? You can put this thing together and put a title on it, but if nobody that enters your business has that feel from your staff to your clients, then is it truly that? The feedback you get would define what you're doing, really.
Right,
and that would mean you have to make changes or realize you're not operating at what you first let out or started out to.
We don't have crystals or candles, but we do have plants. So I
do
think
sometimes hide some crystals in the plants.
Okay, so we are this. We just discovered we are a boutique salon. Holy shit. Your aesthetic is important too, because your aesthetic is going to attract clients, but the structure of your business and how you boutiqueify your salon is what's going to keep them. Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And your aesthetic is going to impress people. Like, you're probably going to get staff this is cool. I want to work here. This is a sick environment, right? With all these crystals and candles and tchotchkes. But the structure is what's going to protect them and keep them there.
Right.
And I know this has been said a million different ways, but clients are going to remember how you made them feel. They're not going to remember what's on your bookshelves.
So true. Like,
it's just not. Anyway, I think that people could leverage that for real. And they wouldn't have to worry about being for everyone because they're not. They're so intentional. They are curating their client list. Like, you do the same thing, Jen. If somebody, look, I had somebody last week that called. They wanted a specific sort of haircut. And I said, they wanted a specific haircut at a specific price point was what the main issue was. And I said, look, I have that price point, but I wouldn't pair you with the person at that price point that I have because they're not going to give you the best service.
Right. They can't deliver that haircut.
They can't deliver that. So why would I do that? Why would I risk that person not being happy?
Right. And then what did you do?
I realized that I had a connection that I could pair them with. So I called the client back and I said, hey, this person I think is great. She is a local barber. She is closer to your price point. She cut my hair today. And I think she's cool. And I think she'd be a great fit for what you're looking for. And the woman was like, she doesn't work for you. And I said, nope, not at all. And then she was like, "So you're promoting another business?" I said, "Yeah, I guess I am." And she was like, "To the point where you called me back?" I was like, "Yeah, I want people to be happy." When I say that, I actually
Yeah.
mean that, and it's funny
Yeah.
because our staff, if they're listening, will probably get a kick out of it. But we do stuff like that if we're not a good fit, or like obviously to protect our business. If we have somebody that will do a better job in hello, we'll pair them with that
Right.
person. Like I used to be not afraid, but and I still wouldn't say I'm great at cutting long hair, but when I would have long haircuts that come in, if somebody else that was better at that skill set was available, I would recommend that person slide over to that chair.
Right.
And it always blew people's minds. They were like, "Really?"
Take
Like,
care of the
"Yeah,
client first.
that person is going to take better care of you
Yeah.
than I feel that I can." I actually had somebody come back in a few months ago, and I cut his hair, and his hair was down to like his mid back, and I came in before a long time ago and you moved me. So I just decided I'd come back in and give it a shot, and I was like, "I'm a lot better now."
Yeah.
So
I can do this.
sit down, and I cut his hair, and he was super happy, or at least he pretended really well. No, but I think doing stuff like that sets you apart, and yeah, you don't have to be for everyone. We are a boutique salon. I just realized, and that wasn't even intentional.
Lots of new things happening.
Yeah, I had a bunch more notes too, just in case, because I always do. But I think that's a cool closing spot, don't you?
Hello Hairco Boutique. I like it.
I think the other thing too, I see people, Jen, I'm never going to end this. I see people that are like, "Oh, I have a boutique in my salon," and they like sell something that's not
Oh
related to
yeah.
anything. And I'm not sure that makes you or a boutique, or it makes you not a boutique. I
I think
guess
it goes back to the
like
feel,
clothing boutique is what they're thinking, maybe,
I guess.
or home decor. I've seen salons with all sorts of random side businesses.
Yeah.
And again, there's nothing wrong with it. I think it's super cool. I think though you could leverage that energy in a different way, and that you could really set your salon apart, like we're going to do at our new boutique. I guess that's all I got.
All right. You had more to say than me today, so I hope everyone enjoyed Todd's Todd talk.
Todd's talk.
Todd's
Yeah.
talk.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. Let's get out of here. All right. We'll
Okay.
see you next week, and hopefully we'll have good news.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Keeping
It
my fingers
depends on
crossed.
it depends on when we record too.
Yeah, I think we're recording sooner than later, so we probably won't have much of an
We
update.
are, because we're not, because the kids are on
Yeah.
vacation and stuff. All right. Anyways, thanks for listening, everyone, and bye. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.